Morning Advantage members. It's Wednesday, September 22nd, 7:15 a.m. my time. We got price of Bitcoin currently at 42,000. Looks like we had a pretty sharp bounce overnight and prices came back up, sitting above this key August monthly open level that I've been watching. That's right around 41.4. I think we're still in a tricky area where the market has sold off quite aggressively, but still has not reached one of my key target levels that I've been watching, which is the 38,000 weekly key SR level. Not necessary that we have to break down all the way. As you can see, just yesterday, we came pretty darn close. The low was about $39,500. I still think there might be just another sweep left in the market. You could still kind of see that the market is still trending down, especially on these key lower highs that we've been setting. If the market is to start breaking back up to maybe, I don't know, 44 or something, I would like somewhat of a base to be created. So if we've done this, what you want to see is maybe something like this, pop back up and then start breaking out like that. Ideally, that is what a base you want to be created over a span of multiple days, or at least a day or two down here, because that might give you an indication that a substantial amount of selling has taken place and that we might be ready to start breaking up higher. I want to check out Trading Light first, and we can see if there's maybe a divergence in CVD, positive divergence, hopefully, right? So let's kind of see what we've got here. I could kind of see a decent amount of divergence, right? So here's how you identify divergence from the standpoint of recognizing if there's, as you can see right there, right? There's slight lower lows. Okay, so the low down here was what is that, 40,000 flat, almost 40,100. The low down here was about $39,500. So a $600 pocket, which is, let's just see how much of a percentage difference that is, right? From this low to this low down here. That's about a 1.7% difference from this low to this low. But what you want to see is in situations like that, right? Here's how that low looks in terms of sell pressure. Okay, so from this low to this low, let me see if I can find a line to use so it's easier. So like that. Okay, what you want to see is look at the sell pressure like this. This is called CVDs, cumulative volume delta, which is a form of understanding how much buy pressure and sell pressure is happening on a market basis. These are not limit orders. These are market orders. Okay. So when you see a whole lot of selling happening here, right? So you have, I don't know, maybe this key level right here. I don't really know how to define this, if it's contracts or millions of dollars, but the point is you just have to look at it from the standpoint of how low is this low versus the amount of sell pressure that took place here. And what I will say is there was far more selling here that led to this drop in price. But what that indicates is even though there was a lot of sell pressure happening, you can see the market did not drop as much, right? So a good way to look at this is if you see that there's a lot of selling happening like this, right, which is cumulative volume delta, that's what it identifies, then why did we not get a significant lower low like that? Okay, like that kind of slope. Well, that's probably because there might have been a good amount of buyers who helped support the price at these levels and refused to allow price to break below this low so far. Now, that does not necessarily mean that from this low in CVD and this low in CVD that we cannot get another lower low in CVD. Or what might happen in the market is you get more selling happening right down here, and this CVD, okay, it looks something like this, like a higher low. So instead of now seeing lower lows like this, you're now seeing a higher low. And this is typically what you want to see in the market to understand that a bottom is being formed, which is what we call a positive or bullish divergence. Because what you want to see is people aggressively selling into an area, right? But the market itself is not reflecting the fact that, hey, this selling is justified. Because what you want ideally is buyers just lining up and lining up and lining up and absorbing all that sell pressure happening. Okay. That is, in my opinion, what more often than not forms bottoms in BTC. I could also see on a daily basis, right? Maybe today or tomorrow, I don't know, maybe we just get a quick spike into 38,000 and quickly recover. So I don't know, the candle might look something like this, like a hammer or a doji, or it might close, somewhere in the middle, or it might be like a fat, bodied candle like this, which prints, I don't know, tomorrow like that, right? Touching this $38,000 level. But then hopefully the following day or the following few days, as we get into the tail end of September, you start seeing the market base out around this area and hopefully a nice, big bullish engulfing candle coming out of that, taking us back to 42,000, 44 and beyond. I am still relatively hopeful and in my opinion, positive about the fact that the market is still going to do well over the next few months, but it doesn't mean that I'm not paying attention to key levels. The first key level being, like I said, this $38,000 area, right? Really not a good sign if we have a weekly close below this level, especially if we start closing dailies below this level and we start rejecting that and start heading down further. We're going to be in a longer correction of a market, right? Call it another crypto winter, or, whatever, right? It's going to look like, okay, this was a small period of reaccumulation. This was a slight pop, maybe an overcorrection to the upside. And then once again, bringing this price action back down to earth in this area, reaccumulating here, and then pressing out, I don't know, maybe end of the year, beginning of next year, right? Again, I don't necessarily want to believe in that kind of scenario, but it is possible. As of right now, I'm still convinced that 38K might be the key low that we want to watch out for. This is also where we found nice support right here, which allowed us to push all the way to 52 or 53,000 up here. Okay. Altcoins wise, I mean, everything pretty much retraced its breakout. I already sort of covered this and reiterated it multiple times. CRV, had a very nice breakout out of this parallel channel and collapsed back down inside due to the fact that Bitcoin saw heavy selling and pretty much most of altcoins saw that heavy selling. Same goes for really anything else. I mean, FTM, had a big pop, pretty much retraced most of it. AAVEX also had a very nice pop all the way to $75, broke back inside this key SR of $60. I somewhat look at areas in this range, this price action, as a potential selling opportunity, in my opinion, especially for something like AAVEX. I think this is a pretty clean trade where you might get, a short trade like that, and your first target profit is around $48 to $50, which is right around this, low right here. Next target profit is way the heck down here, around 36 to 37. For confirmation, you can wait for a clean sort of rejection of a daily candle below $60, short there, then stop up here. Like I said, first target profit there, next down here. I'm still really kind of sitting in spot and not necessarily taking short trades in the market. As I said at the beginning of September, it's going to be a rocky month. It looked like it was good at the beginning of September, but crazy shit happens, right? And you're seeing the effects of that as we go day by day. So I expect this to kind of last pretty much till the end of September. Probably first week of October might be shaky too, but middle of October, in my opinion, I think things should clear up. The other thing that was kind of cool that was happening in the market was it looks like this Evergrand situation is clearing up. Um, let's see. Evergrand, this is, the whole China real estate breakdown thing. So it looks like, as you can see, right? China's central bank injects 120 billion yuan, about $18.6 billion into the banking system after concern over a debt crisis at Evergrande, which kind of shook up, global markets, right? Point is, this is a alleviation, a relief for investors across the world to look at this and say, okay, well, we don't have to deal with the shitstorm. We don't have to swallow this 18, 20, $30 billion hole that Evergrande will leave in the market. And so this de-risking that kind of happens across the board will probably be now more sustained, more controlled. And I think that goes for crypto also. In my opinion, I think crypto markets had shakeouts for two reasons. One, probably being just the fact that it's, September seasonality time. And the other being macro factors, which are number one, Evergrande, and number two, this whole Gary Gensler, crap that he spewed out yesterday, which was all about, crypto regulation, talking about, DeFi and crypto as a whole need more government oversight. All this stuff has direct impact on the market. And then obviously we've now seen the effects of that. And now I think we're probably coming to the tail end of all this bad news impacting the market. See, the sign of a market that it's digesting bad news and not really flushing down hard is very simple. A market runs in multiple ways. So let's just say a market going down, right? From the highs, say a market is coming down. When bad news hits, like here or here, the market aggressively starts dropping off. Say when more bad news hits here and in these areas right here, if the market does something like this, where it starts, going sideways and not putting in huge lower lows and puts in a base, but then there's still more bad news coming out, but the market refuses to sort of break this range, it means that the buyers here are very powerful and very strong, and they believe that all of this bad news coming out in this area is pretty much priced into the market simply due to the fact that we've overcorrected too fast, too hard to the downside, and that the value of whatever asset that we're dealing with is relatively fair in this zone, which allows the market to be in a tight knit range and absorb all the sell pressure, pretty much wait out the bad news. And then eventually from here in this range, the market starts breaking out. In my opinion, I think that is where we're probably going to get to, somewhere in this area over the next few days, maybe in the next week or two. Okay, it's very simple to me. That's how I see the market as of right now, unless there's some colossal F up in global equity markets and this Evergrande situation really blows up worse than we truly anticipated, which once again, I don't really think it's that big of a deal. It's a big enough deal where it impacted the market as much as it did so far, but I don't think this ends the current, breakout of BTC, the current, run that we've had in crypto so far, and the potential run that's coming up. I don't think even Gary Gensler or Evergrande situation are going to stop this, ball that's rolling down the hill for crypto, which is driving prices upward. Because I think that has to do with the overall momentum of what's happening in the stock market and the overall macro factors, which are these, which are very beneficial to crypto as a whole. Okay, so that's the larger picture. I mean, smaller picture really is you kind of just got to deal with the market. I could probably say that if you're looking for long positions, maybe AAVEX is probably the only one I can see as of right now. It literally has, like, I don't know, the best price action of any altcoin so far. Let's kind of dig into that, see if we can maybe find some data on that. I guess Axie popped up overnight. Did it pop up? Let's see. AXS. Yeah, it looks like Axie popped up a good 20% overnight. Other than Axie, I guess, Axie Infinity, I would probably say AVEX is pretty much somewhere near the top. Where the hell is AVEX on this list? Maybe I don't have AVEX on here. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I kind of figured, right? It would be right near the top, So point is, I mean, here's how we can look at it, right? Let's see over the last, I don't know. So this goes back 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 days. So 5 days of cumulative price action shows us that AVEX is technically down the least of pretty much all altcoins and even BTC. That's pretty damn good in an environment that looks like shit right now. I'll take it, So point is, like, if you're looking for longs, I would say that AVEX is probably one that you can consider. But with the way price action is going, with the shakiness of the market, it's also okay if you don't want to look for levered longs. It's also okay to just wait, right? So anyway, I think that's really the only one that I want to cover. I mean, everything else is pretty tightly correlated with the de-risking that's happening, or the sell-offs that are happening in the market. Keep in mind, of course, BTC to come near the $38,000 level. For ETH, as I've mentioned before, I would probably say that 2,500-ish, this area down here, probably a key area of support. Might shoot down further around 2,400, but I wouldn't really be too concerned about it. All right. Nothing else on my Twitter feed. I remember I told you all about OMG, hopefully this thing retracing and coming off like LTC did, several days back, right? As you can see, OMG has pretty much retraced that entire pump that we had. So if anyone got into that short, kudos. And, hope y'all made some good money off that. Okay. And let's see here. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. The last thing I do see, the ES, the S&P 500 futures nicely popping back up overnight. Maybe that gives BTC some relief too. If, say, the stock market opens today and we see another sort of bloody sell-off back towards the lows, I'm pretty confident that this low in BTC is going to get taken out. Okay. I think it's very clean from the stock market standpoint. We are very tightly correlated with global markets right now, especially due to this Evergrand stuff that's going on. And US equities are, more than obviously feeling that impact. So I would presume that crypto is going to be tightly correlated with US equities, or, whatever's happening in the global macro space. All right. Y'all take care. Have a good rest of the day. I will keep you guys updated. Cheers.